Okay, it's the time for the hashtag 60-minute win. This is where you guys have been commenting below on everything: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and you get to win t-shirts, Skypes with me, which are going really, really well. And I want to tell you about one Skype I had this morning in a minute with a guy in Mumbai in India, which was great. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm actually doing Skypes with people outside of the UK. Skyped a guy called Josh in Philadelphia last week. That was really exciting. So the Skype thing's working, but also I'm doing more face-to-face, which is just a chance that we can have a cup of tea, chat about your plan, chat about your strategy, your band, your music, and more importantly, your social media, which is the vehicle that you are going to use to get your music out there. And it's free. It costs nothing. All you've got to do is hashtag 60minwin. That's all you've got to do. And what that does is it helps me because it spreads the algorithm. It pushes it out there more. So it does me a favor. And for that, you can win t-shirts and Skypes and face-to-face. And there'll be other stuff as well. We gave away a guitar. So here are this week's winners. We have got face-to-face meetings. We've got Amy. We've got Charlie. Then Skypes. We've got Luke. We've got Ryan. And we've got Woody and t-shirts. We've got Lorcan. That's a good name. It's a strong name, that one. Cousins TV. Love you guys because you message on everything, which I love. And Lee, who I know and we've been chatting. So for these guys, thanks for your support. For everyone who wants to keep going, just keep it going. There'll be another one in a week's time. I'm just going to give this shit away. I want these Skypes to be a regular thing. So all you've got to do, hashtag 60minute-win or 60min-win underneath. And every week we'll pick 3 people for each, 3 Skypes, 3 face-to-face, 3 t-shirts. We'll send them all out to you. Now, if you are a winner, all you've got to do to reclaim your prize is in the messages below, you've got to email katie@dkmanagement.co.uk, and you just need to say, I've won this, and Katie will get your size of your t-shirt and your address and send it to you. Also, she's got my diary. She's in charge of all my time, so she'll book you in a Skype or she'll book you in with a face-to-face. Now, thank you very much for doing that. Keep it going because it helps me, but I really feel like it's helping my week because I really feel like I'm making a difference one-to-one rather than just making videos. But this morning, I had a really interesting Skype meeting, first thing, with a guy who's in Mumbai. And what was really interesting for him, he's got a very different audience because obviously everyone talks about the noise and stuff. Well, he's in Mumbai, so therefore the music he's doing is more Indian. And so we were talking about demographic. Now, India's got a population of 1.2 billion people. That's a shit ton of people. But most of the people are into Bollywood and film scores and film music, and less so about the kind of modern pop stuff, which is what he wants to do. Now, what's great about that is there's less noise and there's a real chance for him to really make a difference in his country, which I think is amazing. So we talked a little bit about that, but one of the things that came up was YouTube. And I said, what he's doing on YouTube is already working because he's already got a really decent size audience. One of his videos has got 100,000 views. So he's really making a difference with what he's doing on YouTube. But the amount of content I just said is not enough. Like, we are in an age now where we can't be doing this once a month or even once every 3 weeks. It's got to be almost daily. If you're going to look after your fan base, it needs to be relatively daily. And so I said, when it comes to YouTube, which has already built up a good sized following on YouTube, they're there, they're waiting, they want the information. They're saying, yeah, I like you, I want to see more of you. Your job is to give them that, is to actually give them what they want and then find ways then to engage with them to build the relationship. And one thing he said was, that's all very well, I like the idea of that, but I don't want to be a YouTube star. I want to be a credible musician who actually makes music, makes videos, and then tours, which is very interesting. So he said, I've made covers on YouTube before, but I don't want to be that YouTube star that makes covers, which is a very, very interesting point because I see it as 2 different things. I see YouTube stars, especially musicians, who when Ed Sheeran drops a new album, they very quickly jump on the bandwagon and they'll record as fast as they can. They'll record a cover of the new single in order for YouTube to get the search on and get the algorithm going, and all of a sudden they're getting loads of people who are putting searches in for that cover and finding covers. Now what that is an opportunist, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great way of building your audience and actually doing a cover that people can find and going, oh, I like you, I like what you do. Nothing wrong with that. However, if you do that too much, then all of a sudden it takes away from your music and your credibility, and it turns you more into a Boyce Avenue or a Tyler Ward or an artist that is just doing covers on YouTube. Now this is the clever bit. I think covers can be used very, very cleverly, because what this is about and what YouTube is about and what all social media are about is just about today's way of you telling your story. So if you're going to tell your story via, in this case, YouTube, people want to know where you've come from and where you're going. Now, a cover is a really great way of doing that. So instead of just saying, oh, Ed Sheeran's track has dropped and everyone's going to be doing a search for that song, you don't do that. What you do is you think about songs from your past that really mean something to you, that you get to cover in your own style and put your own stamp on it. And then what you're doing is you're not just doing it for the sake of getting views and getting subscriptions. What you're doing is two things. You're looking after your audience by telling your story and saying, do you know what? This song means something to me, and therefore I want to do my own version of it because, and this is the key bit, this is where I've come from, and that's what a story is. Where have you come from and where are you going? So when you pick a song that's very close to your heart that you want to do a cover of, that's very different than just picking songs that people are going to search for and going to find. And I see them as two different things. And one of them feels like I want to be a YouTube star because I'm into the algorithms and I want people to find me and search, and there's nothing wrong with that. The other one is using YouTube as a vehicle to tell your story to your audience and build a really strong relationship with that audience. So my advice on that is you should be doing the odd cover here and there, because there's nothing wrong with covers, but it's being clever. It's being clever with your cover, and it's being clever with what you do with that cover rather than just make it into a YouTube algorithm. I thought that was a really, really great thing that we were discussing via Skype, is still coming down to the same thing. Social media is not the music industry, which people seem to think that I'm trying to say a lot of the time. Social media is just a vehicle. So back in the day, which was a Wednesday, what we used to do is we used to buy magazines so we could see and get to know our favorite artists. And if they were mainstream, they'd be on TV and sometimes they'd be on radio. And that was the three things that you could actually get to see and hear and find out about your favorite artists and where they're going to tour. And you'd look at, for me when I was a kid, it'd be the back of Kerrang magazine. I'd open it up and I'd see which bands were touring and where I could go and see them. Those things have just been replaced. It's no different. It's just been replaced by social media. The only thing that has changed is the amount of content that you need to be releasing nowadays, because if Kerrang magazine would come out once a week, then you'd only need to be putting out certain, because of people's consumption, you'd only need to putting out certain things, and there was a different time scale to the consumption and to what you released. Now it's just that people want things more instantly, so you have to go with the flow. That's the only difference. Other than that, social media is only a vehicle for how you are going to tell your story and engage with your fan base. And I think that was a really great conversation which we had about how a cover can be a really great thing for your career without it turning you into a not so credible artist who is just there to build YouTube subscribers. Because again, then it becomes less about the numbers and more about looking after people. So have a think about that. I think it's a great point. So these people, thank you so much, and thanks to everyone else who hasn't won anything yet. I promise you, if you keep going, I promise you, you will something. You will win something. Not you will something. You will win something. So just hashtag 60-minute win. I'm going to be honest with you. It does help if you're engaging with me, if you're commenting, if you're liking stuff. I do notice these things, so because I do go looking. We do look in the back end, so it does help. If you are on my YouTube and you subscribe to my YouTube, I mean, that is the biggest win for me. So if you really, really want a Skype, if you really, really want a face-to-face, then subscribe to my YouTube and then send a picture of the fact that you subscribe to my YouTube to me and just say, hey, fuckface. You can call me that. Hey, fuckface, I subscribe to my YouTube. I fucking need to win this, and I'll find a way of making it happen. Cool. Right. Do all those things, and we're going to shoot a bunch of videos because my head is full of ideas today. So there's lots of stuff to come. Otherwise, See you guys tomorrow.